What's the most you paid for a Long Island iced tea?
I don't think I've ever paid for a cocktail in my whole life.
Oh, bitch!
No,
oh,
I know I
bitch.
haven't. No,
I'm
I've
leaving.
never.
I'm leaving.
I've never paid for a cocktail.
Oh.
Mom! Do you love the holidays like me? Tamales and snickerdoodles. Are you a gift wrapper like me? Beguiled by big bows. Sleigh bells ring. Are you listening? Wrap the gifts, bake the cookies, deck the halls, blaze the ham, crack the nuts, jingle the bells. Oh, it's a winter wonderland.
Ho, ho, ho.
Santa's on his way. Tighten up. It's Very Merry Delta.
Today's guest sings my absolute favorite Christmas song. She's a singer, a songwriter, an actress, a model, an outspoken legend. It's the one and only Shea Diamond. Hi.
Hi, baby.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you were so generous saying model. Oh.
You are a model.
I may have did, LA Fashion Week once.
Okay.
Or twice.
But how many other people have never done it?
Oh, my God.
A lot.
I didn't think I would do it.
Really?
I didn't think they show love to big girls. I really didn't.
Really?
And, we have this thing to where we all have to be glamazons.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have to be a size 0.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you see that, and that's the only thing you see being celebrated,
Right.
you just don't think that those opportunities will come for you.
But they did.
They did.
But you've created these opportunities for yourself because you are such an outspoken person and you're honest, and people love to see the honesty, and that's what people want. That's what they want reflected. Don't you think?
I do agree. I think sometimes, we're a little too honest.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes we ruffle little feathers, here and there, speaking our truth. Everybody else can speak their truth, but from their perspective, we're always in the wrong because they don't agree with who we are, how we identify. So they're always looking to judge us, to say whatever we're doing, no matter how great it is.
Mm-hmm.
We've never really been celebrated. We celebrate every community, but I don't think we've ever been celebrated outside of our community.
I think that's true. I feel like a lot of people, whenever we talk about, like right now, there's so much going on in the world, like obviously politically and socially, and everybody wants a piece of you, and everybody wants to know, and everybody's trying to get their finances and keep their head above water. A lot of people love to go, oh, girl, but we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. We're not in the same boat. We are in a similar storm.
But you better say that.
But aren't we in different vessels?
We all are on the same flight. Only difference is I'm riding first class, you riding economy.
Right.
So we got to understand the differences. And just like the new AI models, you see the new cargo class.
I've seen
Some
it.
of us are in cargo class.
Very much so.
And, and so we have to be real about it and understand that things that are happening in the world are affecting us all differently.
Well, and just as you said, like, not knowing that you would ever be at LA Fashion Week, when people, people talk about, they'll say, oh, well, this person has white privilege, but there's more than that. There's pretty privilege.
Oh,
there is thin privilege.
Oh.
There's so many different privileges. So when someone says, no, it's not, because my life I still have a hard life. We're not saying you don't have a hard life. You have a hard life. Of course you do. Based on the vessel that you're in.
Oh, you better say that.
But based on your vessel, because I could say, we could talk about our community, but our community is vast and the faces are different in our community. So when people throw around something like protect the dolls and, well, not everybody is the doll. There are specific people we're talking about.
Oh, you better say that.
Right?
You better say that.
We're talking about specific people, and we're talking about people whose language that we've taken and people that who but then want to be left out or want to be last. We want to leave last on the alphabet of our community.
Oh, yeah, we get the last straw. We really do. And I feel that people need somebody to look down on always. So that's where it comes at, because there couldn't be rich if there weren't poor people, right?
True.
And so they keep us in our positions. So no matter how far we advance, they're always going to move that finish line.
Right.
And, so you work 3 jobs. Now you need 4. because the rent's still going up.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're getting paid is not going up. And when we start to realize that some people are going to be affected, especially moving into next year, things are going to get really, really, really bad.
Right.
And so I'm hoping and I'm praying that the holidays is full of joy, full of that old Christmas that we remember, of us not spending at these big corporations that are not supporting us anymore, but
Right.
actually going into making homemade Christmas gifts again and buying from the small mom and pops to get little gifts.
Yeah, that's true. And this, you talk about how important it is to be celebrating the holidays. Have you always
Mhm.
been a holiday person?
No,
No.
no.
Okay. When did that change for you?
I don't know. I'm so weird because I think it was after the music, really. I think
Okay.
it was after the music. I just got kind of felt a little Christmas, the magic I used to back in the day when we
Mhm.
used to watch. What was the one where he stuck his tongue on a thing? He was like,
Oh, the Christmas Story. Yeah.
That was the Christmas that I loved and remembered, and Home Alone. And I feel like we've fallen so far from that.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't until after I released the music that I started getting a sense of Christmas again.
Mm-hmm.
I said, we need to celebrate it because, first of all, these holidays don't make sense.
Why don't they make
They
sense?
don't make sense when you think about it. Christmas, right?
Uh-huh.
Who are we celebrating? Who we
Santa
supposed?
Claus.
But who is the day supposed to blow to?
I mean, I guess technically Jesus'
Right.
birthday.
So how do we celebrate Jesus' birthday?
with
With
presents from Santa Claus.
and how do we make that make sense? None of our
It doesn't.
holidays make sense. So the only thing that ever made sense, and then when you look at the things that happened that created these holidays, they were dark.
Yeah.
Easter
true.
was dark. The St. Patrick's Day, all those stuff was dark. Valentine's Day, child, there was somebody whole heart for real, and we give them out like candy now. We're weird.
We are weird.
We celebrate the mass killers.
Uh-huh.
They get their own movies, talk shows, everything to celebrate the sexiest criminal in the world. You know, like we something is wrong with us. Something.
Yes,
and then
you're right.
we don't root for the good people.
We don't.
How many people doing wicked actually rooted for is it, how do you pronounce it? Glinda?
Uh-huh.
What is it? She said. No, it's not Glinda. It's
Oh, Elphaba?
no, it's Glinda, but it's how you pronounce it. I forgot how she pronounced it. Galinda! Galinda! So we're not rooting for Galinda.
Right.
We're rooting for Elphaba, who's supposed to be the villain.
Right.
We always root for the villain.
Why
By
do we do that?
default.
Why do we
We're
do that?
not good people. We're not. We're not good people. We can't celebrate Jesus. We're gonna replace him with Santa Claus.
Do you think that's why maybe the aliens have been here and they just go, no, we're good, bye?
Because we were selfish.
They said,
They
"Ugh."
realized we were selfish. They gave us all this technology, and what we do?
They said, bye-bye. We're good. I'm not going to stop there anymore. You know, when you're
Right,
driving on the freeway
right.
and you have to go to the bathroom and you stop and you go, oh, I don't want to stop there anymore. One time and one time only.
One time only.
That's it.
You know, I'm with that song. I don't know who the artist was, but she was just basically saying, "Earth is ghetto. I wanna leave. Won't you beat me up? The street by the corner store." I said that song. It hit so hard. If the aliens ever come, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm so done down here.
There's got to be something else.
Something else.
There's got to be
How's
something
the
else.
trade on Mars?
What do you think? Do you think they're really gray or they're green?
Child, I know they got a big old soul pole.
You know it. You know it to be true. So wait, your Christmas music, I said in the beginning, my favorite Christmas song, Blame It on Christmas. I mean, there's, and that's, I bring that song up. That's only the tip of the iceberg.
Blame it on Christmas.
Oh my God.
Why I'm out of control. Oh, give me forgiveness for what's about to unfold. 'Cause I just can't keep my cool.
Oh my
Little dabble,
God.
dabble.
What? For real? Wow. It is ultimately my favorite Christmas song. There's something about that song.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, just blame it on Christmas. What? Blame it on eggnog.
Mm-hmm.
Blame it on Santa. Blame it on
Dettol.
all of it. I don't know what
Blame
it
it on
is,
angels, whoever you want to blame it on. Just don't blame it on me.
but I know it's Christmas. I know it's the
Mhm.
season because it gets people going. Just as you said, money
Oh yeah.
freaks people out.
Mhm.
Having to be around people that, I've got people in my family that I always think, I love my family. We all love our
Mhm.
families.
We do.
But these past couple of years, I would definitely say, at least since the pandemic, have really separated people to go, oh, now I know what you're fully about. Now you have no problem telling me. It's not like a rumor that you were really negative or not. You just go out and tell me, oh, I don't like your community. I don't
Oh,
like your people.
They're getting so bold.
And so part of me says, I'm glad I know.
Mhm.
I'm better off knowing.
Mhm.
But the other part of me says, like, but why? Like, why? And so,
Are we gonna go there?
because Christmas, it really exacerbates those things. It
Mhm.
highlights all of those things.
Mhm.
And when I hear blame it on Christmas, I'm like, it's not just about shopping. It's about all these interactions that we have with
It
one another.
is. It is. It gives us permission,
Mm-hmm.
because you may eat a little too much pie. During the
Mm-hmm.
holidays, we eat.
Yeah.
And so what do? We blame it right on the holiday.
We do.
It was Thanksgiving. I'm done. I'm going to my diet will start again after the holidays. So we blame everything on it. If you're gifting a little too much and you're just like, you know what? Oh, I know I'm broke, but what I'm doing buying all these people these gifts, blame it on Christmas.
Blame it on Christmas.
Your ugly sweater, blame it on Christmas. It's just, it gives you permission to celebrate something that's bigger than you.
Right.
Something that makes you feel joy, that makes other people feel joy. Because during the Christmas season, normally, now, the administration is kind of different. So, there's a lot of hostility and a lot of rage and anger for nothing. You're rich. What you got? What's your
You already
problem?
have everything you want.
What's
Everything
your problem? You have everything you need. What is your problem? I need to know because you can't tell me you wake up in the morning and check that bank account and get up with a frown on your face.
Right.
Just because you see me bopping by. It don't make sense.
Can you? I mean, I'm sure you can remember, like when we were kids. Growing up, we'd say, oh, if I was a millionaire, I would do this. I would do that. I would help people. I see, it's like all these people, they're not millionaires. They're billionaires. And they
don't help nobody.
They don't help anybody. I don't see the libraries.
They don't care. They said, them kids.
Uh-huh. They did.
After saying protect them for so long because we were saying protect them.
Yes.
And so there was this exchange to where they felt like they had to mimic everything from us or mirror everything we had said. We were saying protect the kids, and that's how we feel. Our community has always protected the kids. It's what we're known for. Right. And so when we start going into these straight families and homes and stuff, we realize why we ran away from those homes. There's so many dark alleys and secrets and the closets up in that family. Nobody ever talks about the violence that you endure, but they expect you to get over it and be okay. Mm-hmm. And so my thing is how do you escape that? Right. And start your life anew. And then at the same time, remind them that they up. Yeah. That me up. Mm-hmm. The harassment I got as a child, the ridicule, like in school, so certain people, they can focus on arithmetic, algebra, science, all that stuff. They can excel. Because you don't have somebody behind you harassing you the whole time in your existence. Mm-hmm. So you're able to blend in and be fine. And so for those of us who don't have that privilege, we still have to not only walk down the same road that other people have to walk to that don't want us on that road, but we also have to pave our own road because we're never truly good enough to be on their road. Right. Even though their road is jacked up.
Fucked up. Fucked up.
I didn't want to curse because I didn't know what it was giving. I was like, what?
You can say whatever you want.
Well, fuck.
Let's take a break. Let's take a fucking break. This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that helps you build, grow, and stand out online. Whether you're just getting started or taking your business to the next level, Squarespace has everything you need, from claiming your domain and creating a stunning website to showcasing your work, building your brand, and getting paid all in one place. Squarespace gives you the powerful design tools to create a beautiful custom website that truly reflects your brand. Start with Blueprint AI, their smart website builder that puts together a personalized site in just a few steps. Choose from award-winning templates, use easy drag-and-drop editing, and customize every detail with on-brand AI content and stunning design features. No experience required. Squarespace also makes sharing video content effortless. Upload and organize your videos, build sleek video libraries, and even monetize your work using built-in paywalls, making it perfect for courses, exclusive tutorials, and premium workshops. Head to squarespace.com/verydelta for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code VERYDELTA to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Do you know what I love? Photos. I love taking a trip down memory lane, and that's why I love Aura Frames. Aura Frames is the world's smartest digital picture frame that takes about 2 minutes to set up. Share photos or videos from any device and they will instantly appear on the frame wherever it is in the world. No memory card required. I love being able to walk by my Aura Frame and see photos from days gone by, late nights at Peanuts and early mornings at the Yukon Mining Company. Nothing makes me smile like seeing those classic memories right in my living room on my Aura Frame. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code VERYDELTA at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code VERYDELTA. That's auraframes.com, promo code VERYDELTA. This deal is exclusive to listeners and frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. We are back with Shea Diamond. We are talking about everything holidays.
Yes.
Now, I was asking you off camera what your favorite dishes are, and you did mention dressing is one
I
of your
did. Don't forget the cranberry
Uh-huh.
and sweet potato pie.
So good.
Put a little whipped cream on it.
So do you like
Oh.
whipped cream or Cool Whip or ice cream if you had
Child,
to pick?
what's the difference between the whipped cream and the Cool Whip?
Well, the whipped cream is in the can, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, sure
Oh.
is.
Well, I guess you can home make whipped cream,
Oh,
right?
and I do want to do that too. Have you noticed that all this stuff we've been eating is not good for us? It's like,
I haven't noticed
and we
yet.
and we can and we can make all this stuff ourselves.
We can,
You know,
and I don't.
So the situation, you know how we used to always get a little, bowl of Campbell's and
Uh-huh.
warm it on up and we were good. Now we can't eat Campbell's, girl.
Oh, I heard about that.
We don't make stuff ourselves no more. We've gotten
We
so
don't.
comfortable in buying this quick stuff that is killing us.
Yeah.
And so we need to start cooking again.
Well, I ask you about food because this is the part of the show where I like to ask people to join my fish fry, which
Ooh.
is I feel like I know when I'm up here complaining about fast food and all these
Mm.
places, these are first world problems. These are problems that are not
Yes.
really
No,
problems.
they're not. They're not.
But I talk about them because one thing about me is that I'm always going to beat a dead horse.
Oh, beat
I'm always going to beat a dead horse.
down.
And
Beat
people are like,
down.
didn't you talk about that? I said, yeah, but I'm not over it yet. I'm still talking about the same shit. Is there
Mhm.
any small fish out there that you need to fry? A behavior or something you've noticed that just kind of lingers and bothers you?
Can it just be about the system?
Yeah, it can be about whatever.
The algorithm. I paid my
Yes.
ransom and I need them to unhinge
Mhm.
my algorithm.
If people don't understand this entirely, because algorithm for some of us, for myself, is sort of a newer word. Maybe the past, like since pandemic is when I noticed it.
Yes.
It
Oh,
basically
yes.
is when we heard about shadow banning,
Mm.
which basically we've noticed
Yes.
that people that are very vocal about things for oppressed people or opinions about political situations,
Mhm.
all of your content sort of goes away and it's not being shown to people,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
How have you experienced that?
So I think I was a little vocal, because we went through this climate with George Floyd,
Mhm.
and now we have the Charlie Kirk, just the CK,
Mhm.
and those things, they're going so hard on this hate train that it's hard to escape it. It's hard to escape it. And then we're learning new things too. We're learning that all these major accounts that we've been going back and forth with, they're from other countries. They've showed the proof now.
Right.
So I guess on the X, they're that the creator of that decided to hide the fact where these accounts came from. So he shut that down, but we
Right.
already saw it and we already seen. So they're egging us on from other countries. And so America has a problem. And it's not Americans.
Yeah.
It's everybody else antagonizing, instigating, throwing it in. So we're at war, but we're at war mentally. We're the war that we're under is playing in our face. You know how I tell you that dress looks absolutely horrible and you should just put it in my closet?
Mhm.
So if you're a person that's going to believe that, you'll be like, "Oh, girl, honey, here, you're so right. You're so right, Shea. Here you go, and I'm
Mhm.
going to enjoy that dress, and I'm going to look good just like you looked in it." But you fell for the okey doke, and I
Right.
think that's what we're doing right now because we don't have a problem. We've never had a problem this serious about each other. We go to the same grocery stores, we party at the same clubs, we
Mhm.
eat at the same restaurants. We used to have a sense of community. They broke all that up and divided us. And so that's the only way that they can win is by dividing us,
Mhm.
making us think, because we're stronger together. We are. And so when you got one little queer by themselves, that's a problem. It's gonna
Right.
be a problem for them. But when you got all of us, you better walk up on us. And you better walk up on us.
Yeah.
And so I think that is what we're missing right now. And other countries are playing into that.
Mhm.
And I used to think I want to go and see the world.
Mhm.
But right now we have all these leaders who are dictators who just can't let people live. God gave us all this stuff for free and
Right.
to be free. But man found a way to tax us on water,
Right.
tax us on air. That he will sell everything to us. So I feel like these leaders are making life too serious, and life is not that serious.
Mhm.
It's not that serious. That we should be able to enjoy ourselves. I should be able to go to any country I want to and discover, to engage, as long as I'm being respectful.
I agree.
But when it gets to the point that I got to start looking down, holding my head down, I can't speak when the man is speaking and all this old stuff, that's a bit much. And I'm not the type of person to keep up with all that stuff. But I can tell y'all this: hate doesn't pay. So for every state in the USA that decides they want to discriminate, hate does not pay the bills. You got to understand why some of the richest states in the US are that way. They're more diversified. People can do what they want as long as you ain't hurt nobody.
Right.
And so that's what pays the bills. When the gays can contribute, when the blacks can contribute,
Mhm.
when women can contribute.
Mhm.
And so this is what it looks like to have a business, because you're looking at that business as just green. When you start saying, I don't want Delta's money because she wearing red,
Right.
you missing out on a coin. And I think that's not a smart business motto.
Mhm.
And so when we look at everything in this world, we need to look at it from a standpoint that we all do better together. We discover more together. It's how we advance. The reason why other countries are advancing more than we are is because we're worried about what bathroom trans people are in,
Right.
instead of worrying about how can we clean the air.
And we weren't worried about that 25 years ago.
Because we were doing that even before that. Never
Mhm.
had a problem going to the restroom. Nobody cared.
Mhm.
And the truth is you're more safer with us in there than you are
Right.
without us.
Right.
Because how many times have we had to beat somebody down because somebody was violating one of our girls in the bathroom?
Right.
And then that's a cis woman.
Mhm.
So what happens when these men come in the bathroom as they do, and they do the things that you know they do in there? Who you worried about me? And sister girl, we got the same story.
Just going to the bathroom.
We just go,
Just going to the bathroom. People are just trying to go to the
and
bathroom.
sometimes not even going to the bathroom. Sometimes I just want to check my mug.
Right, right.
I just want to put a little powder on, and I'm stepping right on out.
I feel like the average person isn't peeking in anybody's stall
No,
anyway.
nobody's doing that.
That's
We're
just
trying
not.
to kick people out of our DMs. Why you think we're trying to go
Right.
to a bathroom to a gender we're not even attracted to do something?
Well, and I think you really hit on something that we can also go back to, which is when I say about these different vessels, you are seeing things, and I feel like your opinion is so much more nuanced because you are a trans person, a
Mhm.
person of color. And you're very honest with people about the time that you have spent in the system.
Oh yeah.
You're honest with people, so you see these viewpoints not just from somebody who goes, "Oh, I feel bad for that situation." No, you say, "No, I've been through that situation."
Yes.
So
Yes.
your voice is the voice that needs to be amplified. So when we talk about these stories and somebody says, "What do you think?" It doesn't matter what I think. What matters is amplifying the voice of the person who was there, the person who did that, the
Mm.
person who lives that. So I could say all I want all day long, protect the dolls, protect the dolls.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
great to use your platform, but don't speak as the doll
Oh.
unless you're the doll. And
Mm.
all I can do is make way and move out of the way and say,
Mhm.
let me jump down from this table over here and you get up here.
Mm.
Because if it can amplify the voice, that's what we're trying to do here. When you spent your time, and I go to this because you write songs.
Mhm.
You develop these ideas, you create these looks in your mind and all the things that go with it. What does that look like when you are inside? You're not outside. Where are you writing these things? Where does your mind go?
So I feel like I was able to really tap into my artistry when I was incarcerated. And so being in such a dark place
Hmm.
and at such a dark time in my life as well, to where I felt abandoned. I felt like, everybody who I treated, I felt like I feel like I've always been good. I've always been sweet. I've
Yeah.
always been kind and did right by everybody, family, friends, everyone. But it was so crazy how everybody turned their backs on me once I got incarcerated. So I was facing that alone. And I saw some of the worst people that had committed the worst crimes in the world still had people that came and visit them.
Mm.
And so, did it stop me? No. Am I looking for a pity party? No. I am not a victim of anything. I've always been a survivor, and the creator has never put more on me that I couldn't bear. So I just realized that, you know how some people get a chance to live a soft life? I'm used to carrying all my bags myself.
Right.
I'm used to doing everything by myself, for myself, and still doing everything for everybody else, and not understanding that the math wasn't mathing.
Mhm.
So I looked around and thought about, what if something happens to me in this prison while I'm here with these men who are, sometimes I can't even walk on the yard with, because they're looking at me as as an object of something that they need to obtain. And so they were willing to fight over it, and they were willing to kill over it. And they were willing to kill me over it even. So I started reflecting. And so what everybody did by going out and exercising and stuff, I did that for a while. I did all that stuff. Went out and played cards with everybody and all this other stuff. I was always kind. I was always someone you could talk to and that would listen to whomever, right? And so I feel like that gave me a special place in people's hearts. So when I left, the day I got released, the inmates and the guards were crying. And they
Wow.
had said they had never seen nothing like that before. And I always understand my purpose, that I'm not supposed to be like everybody else. You're not supposed to get the same feeling from me that you get from everybody else. When I hug you, you know it's real. So in there, when I decided to not go to yard and stuff, because somebody at some point they took my yard. They gave me some grass in my hand and told me, "Bitch, don't you come on this yard
Oh, wow.
unless you choose a man." I said, "Well, I got a man. He just rode out." They said, "Fuck that. Yeah, you better choose one by the end of the day or you can't go to y'all no more." So I started to really think. I started thinking about everything. So I started one day, I just didn't go out, not because I was afraid, because we have a sense of power in there, almost um equivalent to a cis woman that's
Mhm.
out here. So they would protect the dolls. They would protect the dolls. They would catch a case over one of the dolls. And so I didn't come out for a while. And I remember so many people like sending notes in saying, "We miss you. What's going on?" Like everybody, the prison shifted. And that's how I realized my power of being on this earth and the space I occupy and what it means to somebody.
Right.
That even though it don't mean something to the people who you think it would mean something to, like family and your friends, but you need it by somebody. So I started writing. I didn't go out. I started writing these songs and stuff. I Am Her. Another song you're going to hear on this upcoming album. It's another one I wrote in the inside. It's a little darker.
Okay.
So I did see some things while I was in there, and one of the things was somebody committing suicide, and it
Mm.
hit me so hard. I am such an emotional creature. I don't know. You would look at me as a tree hugger almost. I just always believed in protecting everything and protecting everyone. So when I found out that he had committed suicide, and the guards and stuff didn't let it be known for like 3 days, so they didn't let nobody know, so they hid it. And I said, what if this was me? I don't have family, friends. In all my years, I've been so good that could show up for me one time. I've shown up for everyone. They couldn't show up for me one time. And so it made me not only reflect my whole life and how hard I worked for everyone's love. And I worked so hard to be liked and to be loved, to be respected. So I gave it and I showed it. But they always looked at me for what I wasn't and who they thought I should be. And so all the good I did, it just didn't mean nothing. So I wrote this song, I Am Her, about I get along so well by my goddamn self. Right? There's an outcast in everybody's life, and I am her.
Mhm.
And so that's when I started to realize that being her wouldn't stop for me. Although you don't acknowledge that. This is my existence. This is my truth. And there's nothing you can do. And so when I was writing that song, I was writing it as a letter goodbye. All the
Mm.
music I was writing, it was more of a letter goodbye, just in case something happened to me, and hopefully they would discover something I left behind. Even though they never showed up, but they would discover it. That somebody would say, "Hey, she wrote this, she did this," and my thoughts, my vision of a different world would reach somebody. And so it was never intended to be a song until it was, you know?
Mhm.
And so that music, sitting there and singing to the inmates who were like my testers, because I always had doubt, because that doubt was put into my head profusely, to the point that you just didn't, even when you achieved the goals they said you would never achieve, you still felt that imposter syndrome. You
Mm.
never felt
Okay.
like you belonged, because you were always reminded that you should never do this, you could never do that. I was always reminded, just because of my lifestyle, because of who I am and what I represent, I would never have anything. They spoke that on my life.
Yeah.
Family spoke that I would catch AIDS and I would die. So they wished death upon me too. So I realized that I could be okay without people in my life that spoke that on me. That no matter how much I love, sometimes loving people means letting them go. And so sometimes you have to realize, do you want family or do you need to choose yourself in this moment? We'll endure so much. And especially during the holidays, a lot of people are going to be misgendered and everything else, sitting at that table. And they're
Absolutely.
going to endure it because they think that they have to. But why accept this abuse? We don't accept it for the men from the men in our lives. Why do we accept it from our family?
Mhm.
I had to say, until you respect who I am, because I worked hard to get here.
Right.
Despite everything you did and you let happen to me, I still managed to arrive here. And who would have thought that I would be on somebody's red carpet? Who would think that I would be walking LA Fashion Week? Who would think that I would get any opportunities? What they put on me and on my life, it was a generational curse that we all have put on our backs and carried for so long.
Mhm.
And I finally feel like I was one of the ones who broke that generational curse.
Wow.
And I think it was just by letting people go. You know, we're worth it. We're worth taking that extra time, that extra thought to respect our genders and our pronouns.
Right.
We're worth that. We're worth that visit. I said I wouldn't have no funeral because I don't want a whole bunch of fake people crying, "Oh, it should have been me, Lord. It should have been me, Lord." Yes, it should have been you. Hell, you ain't never came and visit me.
Right.
But you're gonna show up to my funeral
Right.
to make a spectacle.
Trying to jump in the grave.
Probably trying to work my friends out of something and stuff. You know, the people who are around who actually love you and cared about you and stuff. You know, I'm so hurt that I ain't got nobody now. And you're like, oh, she was so good to me too. Let me give you my telephone number. Don't get that heifer your telephone number. She gonna wipe your bank account clean. People don't mean us well.
Right.
And so they have an opportunity. How old am I? How long I've been on this earth that people had 47 years to show up, but you're going to show up for my funeral?
Mm-hmm.
To laugh? To dance on my grave? What you here for? You can finally show up, but you couldn't show up for neither one of my shows when I needed people. You know, it's like, you know what? Doing court, the reason why they sentenced me so harshly is because I didn't have family that showed up. They said, you know, we see that you didn't commit no other crime, but your family didn't show up. You got to be a horrible person.
Right.
When a judge said that.
Just the optics. Just the optics can change the course of. And, you know, again, it sounds preachy, but like if there's any blessing, I don't know if that's even the right word, it's that I feel like maybe there's only certain people can be trusted with this experience that you've had to speak to other people and let them know that these are not sentences. Like these are not forever. This is something that you can come out of and you did. And there's people out there that need to hear that.
They do, because you're told once you get incarcerated, it's over. You're not going to get a job anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
People shy away from our experiences because it doesn't meet the visual expression they're trying to show. So, you know, I also remember just like singing for then president and realizing that I would never be able to really occupy that space because of my past. It was such a bold reality check of there's somebody whispering in your ear that you ain't shit.
Oh.
You know, you know what I mean? Like, and you just don't expect people who are our leaders to tell us that we have nothing coming. You know, but I do love the truth. I do love somebody saying something with their chest and unapologetic, like, tell me you hate me. Right. Without telling me you hate me.
I mean, there is something to at least knowing where you stand with someone.
It does.
But then, as we both know, like when it comes to social media, we're talking about the algorithm. There's also a place where people like just tell you something and you're like, I wasn't inviting you into a conversation about this. I already told you what I thought. I posted a picture of myself in that dress and I said, I look good. I didn't ask.
It wasn't a question.
I wasn't saying, what could I do to improve this? This is as good as it's going to get. This is it.
Right.
I don't have anything more in me. This is it.
This is what I got.
Okay? No, it's not Naomi Campbell. No, I'm not Cindy
Right.
Crawford. I just said.
Oh yeah.
Right, but people are insane.
People are miserable. I don't care. You
You
gotta
said we're no
understand.
good.
We're no good. We're hateful. We're ugly. We're all these things. You gotta understand where all this came from too. I spoke a little bit about people just not being happy, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're living these lives that they're supposed to, that they tell us that we're supposed to be living, but they're not happy in those lives.
Right.
And so, because if you were happy in that life, you were truly happy, what the rest of the world is doing wouldn't impact you that much. You wouldn't really care because you're happy at home. I got my wife, I got my husband. We're living this cis norm, life. We got 2 kids and a beach house. The world has always celebrated us. We're doing everything right, but you still spend majority of your brain power thinking about me, even when you walking with your girlfriend down the street. And I said, what is that? And then I had to realize what they go through and what they went through. They went through the same thing we went through. The only difference is we chose us. So when somebody tells you that this is what a man is supposed to be, man don't sit like this, man don't do like this, man don't wear this, man don't do that. And he listened.
Right.
He listened. Now he's in this insufferable situation that he's trapped in. So until grandmama died, he can't bust it open for a real one.
Right.
So, and that's what they deal with. So when you wonder where that hate comes from, it's hating you because you're free, and I can never be that. At least until I move to another state, and I can maybe do some things in secret, but I can never be you. How much strength it takes to choose you and to be you when being you is not the popular thing to be, and you never deviate from that.
Right.
People find power in that, and they're jealous of that power.
They are. People don't like anyone who's too proud or too free. When they see it and they don't have it, just as you said, it really is a mantra. It really is. In this, everything that you're saying, it spells itself out. Like you say it and then we
Signs
look.
and symbols for a conscious mind.
It's so true. Let's take a break. Ever dropped $150 on a bottle of cologne or perfume only to realize you absolutely hate it? Rough. Micro perfumes make sure you never have to play fragrance roulette again. For just a few bucks, you can test drive the real deal Tom Ford, Dior, Creed, authentic designer scents without the full bottle gamble. I love being able to get luxury fragrances with no commitment. Micro Perfumes has over 500 scents available for you to choose from, and unlike subscription boxes or shady discount sites, Micro Perfumes gives you instant access to authentic, in-stock fragrances, the real thing, affordable, and ready when you are. I ordered several fragrances from Micro Perfumes, and I was thrilled with how quickly they shipped. In fact, I'm actually wearing one of them right now as I record this ad. The fragrance I'm currently wearing is Effing Fabulous by Tom Ford. The name says it all. Effing Fabulous is a decadent and spicy leather scent that wields an intoxicating grip. The scent is a vibrant clary sage and fresh lavender that commands attention with aromatic foreplay. And baby, you know I love foreplay. I'm absolutely in love with Micro Perfumes, and I can't recommend it enough. So why commit blind to a $200 bottle? Find your scent soulmate today and get up to 60% off at microperfumes.com/verydelta. That's microperfumes.com/verydelta for up to 60% off. Micro Perfumes, real scents, no regrets. We are back with Shea Diamond. Now, this is the part of the show that we call Read Me Delta. People send in their letters. And if you want to send in a letter, you can send it to readmedelta@gmail.com. Do you get a lot of messages from people and DMs? Do you get spicy DMs?
Yeah, I do get the spicy things in my DM on TikTok. of all places. They
Oh,
may not
okay.
like my post, but they will come in my DM and tell me that they want to marry me and be with me and that I'm beautiful and all this other stuff. So my DMs is popping. But
On TikTok.
on TikTok. But you know how I think. We've talked about this. You know, I think everything is a scam.
It is.
I thought even coming on this show was a scam. I said, Delta don't want me on her show. When Doug was contacting me, I was like, there's no way. I had to reach out to you and message you because I wasn't sure if this was a scam or not.
Because it came from
I was like, ain't nobody want to
from the
talk to
network.
me. I said, no, nobody want to talk to me.
You are so ridiculous.
And so, yeah, when you say, yeah, girl, I'm looking forward to seeing you today, I was like, oh, okay, so let me go ahead and get dressed.
Well, I have to say, with that, again, we look at things with eyes where people have fooled us before.
They have fooled us.
And I mean, again, it's a generational thing for us.
Mhm.
And also, again, while I can say it's generational and while I can say, oh, use the term gay, I'm also not black. I'm also not one of the dolls. So there's added things that are happening to you where you're like, your senses have to be heightened.
Right.
And
right,
therein in that example lies the privilege. I have the privilege of going, well, no one's going to bother me. You know what I mean? But you're saying if we have not had a personal conversation about this, maybe somebody is fooling me. Maybe somebody's luring me into a dangerous area.
Into a dangerous
maybe
situation.
anything. I don't know where this place is. I don't know what's going on here. These are those things about privileges where it layers and levels. For many years of my life, my friend, my two closest friends. Obviously, I'm Mexican. My other friend is white, and then my other friend is black. And we traveled everywhere together. We did all our shows together. We were just constantly together. And we were drinking one night in Palm Springs.
What was I drinking?
I don't even. I'm mellow. I just drink like Malibu if I'm going to drink something.
Oh, you're
I'm
so
mellow.
cutesy with your drink.
Cutesy is right.
Wow.
I can barely.
Okay.
Stop. What?
Okay.
Wait. What did you drink?
So Long Island iced tea is my drink of choice.
Okay.
So it has everything in it except for the kitchen sink, right?
Uh-huh.
And I wanted extra long, less tea.
Okay.
So
Full bodied.
what's the most you paid for a Long Island iced tea? I'm asking for a friend because something happened to my friend.
I don't think. Okay. The privilege? Can I give my privilege again?
Please.
I don't think I've ever paid for a cocktail in my whole life.
Oh, bitch.
No,
Oh,
I know I
bitch.
haven't. No,
I'm leaving.
I've never paid for a cocktail.
Charles, can you get the car
And
ready?
if I have, I've never looked. I've never looked at the price. I just left my card.
Can I
No,
throw pillows?
only because I work in the bars so much and I
What?
drink so little.
Must be nice.
I know it's just
Must be nice.
it's just a little privilege.
Wow.
Shea, I didn't mean it like that. I just
Wow.
meant, there's this gentleman callers, and
yes.
they just trying to get me liquored up. And I just have a mind of my own. I don't even. No, I will say one time I was in. I'm sure they're not like this now.
Mhm.
But one of the last times I ever worked at Mickey's nightclub in West Hollywood was, and I'm talking like 15 years ago.
Mhm.
I remember everybody was getting shots and drinks for free, and I was a guest performer there. And I said, the server came over and he said, "Would you like anything?" I said, "I don't want to bother you, but on your way back up, just a bottle of water or a cup of water. It doesn't matter what it is." And he said, "Okay." And he brought up a bottle of water and he said, "That's $7." And I said,
Oh, I know you lying.
I said, "Oh, well, of course it is." And I went through here and I pulled out a $10 bill. I said, "You just keep that, and then you just keep the change for your trouble." He said, "Mm-hmm." And I thought, I honestly,
she tried it.
this might be tea out there.
She tried it.
I said to myself, I will never fucking work there again, based entirely on that tiny interaction. And to this day, there are people that ask me, "How come you're never there?" Because somebody tried to charge me $7 for a bottle of water. I tipped them $3. They shined me on and they gave everybody else in the show free cocktails and shots. Go fuck yourself. I'll never set foot at the bar. I don't care what new management is there. Suck my ass.
Oh, from the back.
I'm just that girl.
From the back.
That's how I am. If you only have to tell me one time.
Oh, that's how I am.
Just tell me one time. That's it. I know.
That's how
now I know.
am.
No problem. No problem. Now I know.
Oh.
How much did you pay for the Long Island?
I'm petty with a purpose.
Yeah. Petty officer reporting for duty.
Okay, so for me, the most I spent was a couple days ago, $30 for that Long Island iced tea.
No. Where were you?
I was downtown.
In a bar.
Yes. Level 8.
$30?
$30.
For
You know what?
what?
Okay. Now, to be fair, right? I could have been scammed, right?
Okay.
You know, because our bartenders aren't always in something. You know, they're not the far. They are shit.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Basically.
you know. So I've been in WeHo before and had them swipe my card till was nothing in it. They took every dime I had. They thought I was drunk. I called the next day. The owner, I said, do da da da, dang dang dang, bang bang bang. And
All over the
he said,
room.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. They were funding my money. So the bartenders steal too. So I'm thinking the most I've ever paid for a Long Island iced tea was $15.
Okay.
So I feel like he charged me for 2, and he was gonna drink that other drink once my black ass left there.
Well, that or he decided that he was going to
Charge me for being black.
Yes.
Tax me.
And that's I think why they charged me the $7.
You know, that's a real thing. And people don't think it's a real thing. But I've noticed price of fluctuating depending on who you are.
Oh,
okay.
Dynamic pricing.
Oh, yes. Okay, so can I tell you again?
Yes, you can tell me anything.
With the purpose.
You know this.
Okay, so we go to the afters, right?
Wait, where is that at?
It's always at a club, you know. I can't tell you. I could tell you a little bit off the camera. I don't want to expose.
What was happening
I don't want to expose
there?
our communities and stuff.
Did you take your bra off before you went?
No. Okay. So I've noticed a pattern.
Okay.
Right. I've noticed them just waving a whole influx of white people. Come on in. Come on. And then just the other night, this one girl, little white girl, she was like, told the owner, "You remember me?" He was like, "Oh yeah, I remember you." And then so she fans in the rest of her friends, the guys that was with her, and they gone through. And then it happened again with some other white people too. Oh, come on through. And so when our black ass got up there, me and my black friend, and when our black ass got up to the thing, now we had been there so many times, and he should remember me. And so I said, "You remember me?" like the girl. He's like,
no.
He said, "I'm sorry, I don't." And I was like, "Is it because I'm too black?" I said, "You don't let like 18 people in here and none of them paid."
And you remembered all of them.
And you remember all of them, even though I'm probably the only one who ever been there before. And so he was like, and I told my friend, I said, let's go, let's get up out of here. Because when you start adhering to that, and you just have to be at that bar just because ain't nobody in there for me. So I'm going as patronage. I'm feeding the meter. And so you mean to tell me that my little money ain't going nowhere? It means nothing. I'm just coming in. I'm giving it to people who would never see me.
Right.
Will never see me. And so I take that personal, and I'll stop going to places just because they don't tell me come back again, and they told the white person come back again. I will never come back again.
Well, you've lived for too long and had these experiences too long to not notice what's going on and why it's happening. Nobody can come to you and go, well, no, actually, don't say no, not actually.
Yeah.
Because
we know.
You know. You've been in this vessel for too long. You just at a basic LGBTQIA plus community level. Not saying I know the experience of a trans person, not saying that I could ever know the experience of a black person, but as a gay person and as a brown person, I can tell you that I learned very, very quickly how to hone the eyes on the back of my head, on the side of my head. When we talk about code switching, we talk about how you talk familiar with certain friends and other people and go, I've had people say to me, you know, oh, your English is so great. And it's like, well, I only speak that language. I don't speak fluently another language. I wish I did, but I don't speak fluently enough to sell something. But people use these little digs and these little words and you go,
you're so well spoken.
And when you hear it, you go, got it. Got it.
Yeah.
You didn't, I know what you meant by that. Don't say, well, I didn't mean, no, I know what you meant.
So you thought I wouldn't be.
Right. You thought I wouldn't be. So when this thing, well, I didn't know you. Of course you didn't. And you don't want my
Mm,
patronage here because you're
mm.
looking for a certain type here. And
Yes.
now that I know that,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to not feed the meter. We're going to take off
Mm-hmm.
because we'll go where we're wanted. Simple.
Exactly. And when we keep on feeding these systems, we're feeding our own oppression.
Yeah.
Just because we have to have that fur coat.
Right.
Just because we have to have that. But we got to get it from somebody who will never see us, doesn't like us, hates us, use the money in turn that we did invest to strip us away from all our rights.
Meanwhile, we're both
So,
sitting here in our own fur coats that we paid for.
oh, period. You know, I don't know if I don't know if mine is real like yours is, but
But nothing that we're doing is real. That's what we do. We create it.
we do, don't we?
That's what we're
make it
talking
look
about.
we make it look so good,
We
right?
create it from the ground up, and then they're trying to copy it.
And I got so many compliments. Just the driver, my driver. He was like, "You're beautiful."
Yes.
He opened up the door and everything. I was like, normally they don't open up the.
I bet you he
they
would
don't
buy
do
your
all that.
drinks. I bet you he would pay.
Yes.
Even at $30, I bet you he'd still pay for
Oh,
it.
yes, he would. But I don't want you to buy me no drink though. I want you to buy me a bottle.
Oh,
Don't buy me
okay.
no drink because if you buy me a drink, you're looking at me as somebody cheap.
Uh-huh.
That's an easy spend.
Uh-huh.
And then you're gonna want my attention with that one little drink.
See, she just read the shit out of me. She said, yeah, Delta didn't pay for her drinks, but she never got a bottle.
Oh,
You just read the shit out of me. No, I'm
So
teasing.
silly.
Okay, let's read this letter. Okay. Dear Delta darling and enchanting guest, as a longtime Delta devotee, I've come to rely on your guidance and wisdom. I am what I can be described as a large lady or a heavyset honey.
Mm.
And I'd like to hear your opinion on what a gal of girth like me should wear to a casual get-together, as well as a formal occasion such as a wedding, a funeral, high school graduation, ceremonies, etc. My preference is to wear short dresses in shimmery, stretchy fabrics that accentuate my curves. However, I'm often told by family and friends that my outfits are vastly inappropriate, no matter the occasion, because they reveal far too much of the peaks and valleys of my ample figure. Recently, while dining at Texas Roadhouse with some gals, I was called disgusting by a total stranger, all because I was wearing mid-thigh length, multi-hued lycra skirt and a matching halter top. Delta, please give me some guidelines on what is appropriate attire for a big bone girl such as myself. Yours in a very devoted adoration, Darlotta Del Rey. What do you think? What's appropriate and not appropriate just in general for people to wear?
How disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that this thing that we do that only skinny girls can show skin.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we show skin, it's disgusting. I celebrate every time someone shows a love handle because it's showing that's a real bitch.
Mm-hmm.
We all want to be paper thin and starving, right? And so in our eyes, that's perfection, right? So we can do anything. We could be evil people. You could be mean to somebody as long as you're thin.
Yes.
Fat girls can't be mean. Fat girls can't be angry. Fat girls can't be sad. Fat girls can't have attitude. Fat girls can't be beautiful. Get up out of here. It's mess. And
That's
so I'm going
1,000%
to
true.
wear what I want when I want it. And so we have to stop giving people so much power over what it is we do. They have an opinion, just
Right.
like we all got asses,
Mm-hmm.
right? With that being said, nobody cares, right?
Right.
I'm not trying to look at your ass. You shouldn't be trying to look at my ass.
Right.
And so what's going on with my ass ain't going on with your ass.
Mm-hmm.
What I eat don't make you shit.
Mm-hmm.
So when I walk on the boulevard and I may have a little roll hanging over it, you'd rather see my skin out than see me sweating profusely everywhere because I'm trying to hide for y'all.
Right.
It's so ugly. It's the ugliest thing that we do when we make people feel inadequate.
Yes.
And so, I feel like the universe, the creator, created us all different. And it's nothing like a big girl when she has fashion.
Yeah.
It's nothing like a big girl in sparkles. It's nothing like a big girl with a nice train on. It's nothing like a big girl showing skin. It's nothing like a big girl dancing and twerking.
Right.
We need to keep it real. Just because you skinny and hungry and miserable don't mean the rest of us have to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we start loving ourselves at every size, because it's hate that brings you to want to lose weight because of somebody else. That's self-hate.
Mhm.
So you let the hate that they have or the discontentment they have for themselves, you know, and they project it onto you and you accepting and eating that on up.
Right.
Happy people are happy. They don't go around making people sad. Only miserable people, sad people, lonely people, ignorant people, they will make you feel bad because they want you to feel like they feel.
Sure. Sure. That's 1,000% true. The only thing I can say as far as like appropriateness, I would say if you go to a wedding, regardless of what your size is,
Mhm.
maybe try not to wear a white dress because that's for the bride.
Oh, and you might get beat down.
You might get beat
You
down.
might get beat down.
I say in the spring and fall, bring a light sweater with you just in case you get cold. If your legs and your arms are showing, lotion up if you can.
Oh,
But other than that, wear what makes you happy.
yes.
Well, and also, we know this to be true that culturally, the opinion of what is considered beautiful is also vastly different culturally, even within even within the United States. So, of course, in other countries, it's the opinion changes as well, and it's well documented. But also here, there's a lot of people that aren't just comfortable with large people.
They
that
love it. They
actually prefer it.
Yes.
But they know that they can't handle the heat of what other people say, so they fetishize those of us
you
who are
better
like that.
say that.
And then people go, "Oh, can you believe how hot this guy is or that? Have you ever been with a guy that hot?" Have I ever? What are you
Yes.
talking about? Like that's
All the time.
I think people think, well, you probably just happy to have, find some
Anybody
trait.
in
And you're like,
anybody
girl,
in your bed.
girl, you have no idea when you've cornered a market
You better say that.
for a certain type,
Mhm.
and then they come through, you go unapproved, not
Mhm.
approved.
Mhm.
This one, yeah, maybe. I mean, people
Mhm.
think that you get slim pickings. Oh, for God's sake, you've
no.
lost your whole
When you
mind.
understand that at the end of the day, all these men want is a hoe.
Right.
Boy hoe, girl hoe, trans hoe, non-binary hoe. He just want a hoe.
But they fetishize too.
Yeah. But one thing I wanted to say too about just the big movement.
Yeah.
How there can only be one big girl at a time.
Oh, there's only one.
Only one.
There's only one.
And I feel like, okay, since Lizzo is a skinny girl now, there is an opening for a big girl.
And it's your
There's
time.
an opening. It's my time.
It's New Year's will be here in 30 days. It's your time. It's your time. It's your time. Dear Delta and fantastic guest. Fantastic. Do you ever say fantastic? Do you use that as a word? I don't.
Oh, not since like the fifth, sixth grade.
I feel like it sounds kind of shady.
I feel like we used it so much then. Everything was fantastic.
That I almost feel like if somebody says something to me now and I answer that way, it sounds shady. Like
because don't nobody use the word no more. So so.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to go eat Caesar salad? Sure, that sounds fantastic.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
fantastic.
it.
You don't even want to move your mouth. Fantastic.
It's kind of nice.
Dear Delta and fantastic guest. Wait. And fantastic guest.
Fantastic guest.
If you're reading this, you haven't given your body to the sky yet. Thank you, God. We need you. The question I pose for you is, do you look back fondly like me? With the year ending, I can't help but look back in the rearview mirror. Sometimes I look back too often because my neck hurts. Well, not only my neck, but my back, my pussy, and my crack.
Ooh!
Anywho, how was your 2025? What are you looking forward to in 2026? Wishing you nothing but the best. Nicholas from Maine.
Oh,
do
Nicholas
you look back?
is everything.
Do you look back?
I do look back every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I look back at the shy me who would never say no to anyone. And I had to learn to say no. And so I look back to where I am now. I say, hell no. Fuck no.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No.
And so, but it took years to grow into who I am now. So I do have to look back and see where I came from to know where I'm about to go. Because each chapter is going to be new. It's going to be different. Because no matter what happens? What I say, you can't stop the dogs from dogging.
Right.
No matter how hard you try, this dog gonna get back up no matter how many times you knock her down, and she's gonna get back up and try again.
Mm-hmm.
I owe that to myself to do that. And to remind myself, bitch, it ain't just you. You ain't just doing this for you. You doing this for the underdogs, for the girls who are not the ones who you chosen. So I make sure I let the world know that my black ass ain't going nowhere, that you're going to see me. You're going to see me on your TV. You're going to see me on the news. You're going to hear me. You're going to hear my music. You're going to see me at the 7-Eleven. You're going to see my black ass everywhere. And you need to get used to it.
You're right.
And do.
And do.
And
do.
is.
And will.
And will. And did.
Wait, what were we talking? We were talking about Palm Springs. And then we started talking about alcohol. I don't know. I had a story and I can't even remember what the hell it was. Oh, we were talking about the privilege and the idea. And what I was basically saying was we were 3 sheets to the wind and we were being philosophical. And we were talking about getting pulled over. Have you ever been pulled over? You ever pulled over? And I said, what we realized is in this day and age, especially now, we looked at it and we said, well, we all have a problem because if we get pulled over, like we're all gay and then, that's an issue. And I looked at it and I said, no, our white friend would get pulled over and would get a stern talking to.
They would.
And I'm the brown friend and I might get a ticket.
Oh.
But our black friend, we probably never see him again.
You better say that.
And that's the difference is that even within the queer community, so when we say privilege over and over and people go, oh, there's no privilege. Break down what we're talking about. And so when we have these conversations and I say, this is my opinion, the opinion you really want to hear is somebody who has experienced something a little bit more. And then if there's somebody else that experienced more, we have to, these are the kind of conversations I love because we have to elevate the conversation by stepping back and saying, I don't know the answer to that. I can only give you an opinion, but I know somebody that can. I know somebody that can and shed a light on that because why do we want to hear people go, oh, yeah, that's so bad for everybody. Well, we're all in the same boat. Okay, bye.
Right.
Oh, for God's sake, we're not doing anything.
Right.
We're not fixing anything.
Right. Because it's not their experience. And so we oftentimes put people in front of the camera who speak on other people's experience without any knowledge of their experience. And so I watch so many people because, again, I spent the 10 years in a men's institution. So I have a little insight on that. But I watched so many people talk about incarceration and what it did. I was like, okay, what do you know about incarceration?
What do you know about it?
What do you know? And so it's just, I don't know, at some point, I feel like a lot of people just wanted to be in front of the mic, but they didn't want to see systems change.
Right.
They didn't want to change anything for the better for other people. They just wanted the mic.
Because people love to be right, not do what's right. Isn't that it? Like people are always like, well, I was right.
And
so what? But are we better now? No, we're not.
Right. No, it's so true.
We're not better.
We're not better. And we won't get better unless we start being real with ourselves, being real with the people around us, and about the situations that we're all facing.
And being real, as we know, like it does not mean being the loudest or being the most vulgar or saying, well, I tell it like it is, so I just make fun of everybody. That's not being real. That's being obtuse.
Oh,
that's just being obtuse.
I ain't heard obtuse in a minute.
Right?
Oh, child, you better reach on
and we'll use our whole mouth.
Dictionary.
We won't say obtuse. We'll say obtuse. Obtuse. Where can people follow you right now? Where do you want people following you, sending you DMs, spicy DMs?
Oh, them spicy DMs.
TikTok there.
I feel like they can continue the spicy DMs on TikTok because I pay no attention. I look at it as a spam or a scam. A man that's hollering at you on TikTok, he wants your check. If you get a first of the month check, he want that check.
Yeah.
If you got a business going on, he won't have. If you got a place to live, he trying to move here next week.
All of it.
That's TikTok. But if you want to support my music, you want to support me in this climate with the algorithm, still being held hostage. I created an app called the Diamond
Mm-hmm.
Dolls.com, and that's with a Z, the Diamond Dolls.
Za.
.com. And you got to understand, see, a lot of people, they don't know nothing about the dolls because, they weren't saying the dolls, a while ago. They were just like, Lizzo had everybody saying bitch, 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 bitch. I couldn't get nobody to say goddess or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But soon as the dolls be darling came, like everybody, there was a new thing that had emerged.
Right.
But I don't think people understand the full context of being a doll.
Mm-hmm.
And some people said, but boys can't be dolls. Boys can be dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Boys are dolls. If you ever had a doll collection, Ken was a doll, bitch. And, and all dolls aren't Barbie dolls,
Mm-hmm.
so we don't need to all try to be these skinny Barbie dolls. I'm a brat, bitch.
Yes.
I'm a brat. So we got to understand the context of being the dolls. And like, there's a dolls with the DOLLS. Those the basic doll. But the dolls with a Z, those bitches don't play.
I love that.
Those bitches are supportive. They show up. It's just, it's a difference. So they can find me on the diamonddolls.com.
Yeah.
And maybe even support my coffee brand that I just created,
Tell us about the coffee brand.
Okay, so it's the Diamond Dolls Coffee Blend. So you get it fresh to your door.
Okay.
So when I tell you, bitch, when it first came in the pack and I smelt it, they had like holes in it. So like a little circle thing with the holes in it. And I opened it up out of the main delivered pack or whatever. I've never smelled anything like it. And I had to have my coffee before I came and seen you because, like I told you, I didn't go to sleep. I wanted to make sure I was on time. I said, that bitch gonna read me if I'm late.
I would never.
She lying.
This was my big holiday gift this year to have you here.
It is such an honor. It is such an honor
to hear your beautiful voice, to hear you talk about where these songs come from. It is a treat, and I feel like my goal with our show here is to highlight voices and people in our community that, listen, the majority of us, me, you, a lot of people, we do work all throughout the week. We do a lot of different things. And you are somebody in our community that has been taken to another level, to national and international fame. So you've done that, and that highlights the rest of us that aren't on that platform, and you bring us with you. So I thank you for that, and I thank you for.
When you say us, you're not talking about somebody who's been on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Well, that's different. We're talking about something that you created for yourself. We were just offered an opportunity to do something,
and you worked that opportunity,
we
child.
Had a good time. I appreciate it.
Some people waste opportunities. Sometimes we waste opportunities. We get these opportunities that are so rare, and we don't know what to do once we get it. And I feel like early in my career, I was there trying to find out. There was no other trans people that were doing anything. So I was like, how am I supposed to be? I didn't want to let my community down, because we had so much to fight for and to prove.
Right.
And not to
You've
just
done that.
them. We've done that now. It's done. And so the heights we're going to now, I never saw coming.
We're ready to reap the harvest. We're ready to reap the harvest. Thank you for being here. This is the best. This is the best. This is the best Christmas. I love it. Today on Very Delta, we learned that Christmas is the perfect time to create community. We'll see you next year. And until then, keep things very Delta. Very Delta is produced by Moguls of Media, aka Mom. Hosted by Delta Work. Produced and edited by Doug Robertson. Technical direction by Danielle Mitchell. With original theme music by Will Pitts. Media and design support by Stone Cole. And set design by Eris Sevilla. Executive produced by Alaska, Willem, Big Dipper, Camille Stennis, and Joe Cilio. Recorded at Forever Dog Productions.
Fuck the system.
Fantastic.
Mom!
Watch Very Delta uncensored, ad-free, and a day early by subscribing to Mom Plus Gold. Sign up today at mompodcast.plus for premium content, including weekly episodes of More Very Delta.